Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our streak of 3 Chinese characters expressions a day. Today we're going to talk about a sao, cao, zuo. Oh, even for me, it's hard to pronounce. Sao, cao, zuo. As you notice, 3 of them kind of ending all of them ending with O English pronunciation marker. And they are all what you call 平舌. So you don't curl your tongue in these pronunciations. You have to go flat. So it's 骚, 操, 作. It's difficult to pronounce for me. Okay. So we have horse symbol on the left side, and you can see we have 4 legs of horse and even the tail of the horse, because tail of the horse is also a distinctive feature of the horse. And then of course the mane of the horse. So these are language creators capture the most distinctive features of an animal, put it on there, and in this case it's a profile view again, because from the profile view you gain the most information. If you only see the frontal view, which we did in the character formation of the lamb, which is the horns, or the ox, which is also the horns, from the front view that you see the horn shape. But in other animals, Chinese capture the manes, the tail, the forelegs, that. So I guess it depends. Okay, and the right side is 3-finger hand symbol. And then we have here almost like a keychain thing, looking thing. That's a worm thing symbol. And then we have 2 tiny little dots in between the 3-finger hand symbol. It actually means the kind of like a bed bug, or wait, what do you call it? The animals that live off your body, that suck your blood, but they're so tiny it's hard to catch. Flea, okay. Jeez. I guess flea infestment was more common back then when the personal hygiene, like, I mean, there were no shower, right? Back then, you probably take a shower after a long time. In both East and West, that's a recent thing that we have shower convenience to rinse off the dirt, therefore nothing, long-term growing. But ancient times, that was a thing because you don't really have access to clean yourself. So this non-water cleaning solution became a case like that's just capturing the flea. So this whole right hand with 2 tiny little dots, which represent tiny little worms, I guess, connected with the worm symbol. That means hand capture such tiny little bugs. And then with a horse symbol. So I guess both horse and humans as pretty big sizable animals, like other tinier animals will live off, right? They will cohabit. And fleas, when it becomes like too much, overwhelming, then it becomes like an issue. So people need to capture them, remove them. So this actually depicts treating horse, get rid of the fleas or whatever tiny little bugs living on them. So eventually this become, I guess, the way to get rid of bugs from horse is using type of special brushes by combing through the hairs of the horses. Then you're getting rid of such tiny little things living off them. And there is another Chinese character switching out the horse symbol, used a hand symbol, human hand symbol, 5-finger human hand symbol, to mean you're doing the same thing, catching such little bugs from human body. So ancient times, both human and animal, domestic animal, need such cleaning or maintenance by removing such fleas. Okay, so this flea removal procedure on horse eventually used to mean upset to, because we can imagine, right, when you try to treat the horse with this flea removal, well, it's helping the horse, but the horse probably doesn't know, doesn't like the, I would imagine, kind of hard combing through sometimes maybe entangled hair on the horse. So it's not a pleasant thing to go through, right? It's not a kind of a, we go to dentist to remove tiny little build-ups in the teeth. It's not pleasant, but it's necessary. So I would imagine that was upsetting to the horse as well. So this word, this flea removal procedure on the horse eventually extended to mean to upset something. Okay, that's 操作. Okay, 操安作 together means you're following procedure, you're doing something. Most likely it's a sequence, like a predetermined movements, procedures. Imagine assembly line. Okay, so that's 操作. So 操 and 作 by itself, we have the 5-finger hand symbol. And again, the 5-finger, the middle finger, pointed toward the right because it's a differentiator. We have a hair symbol that kind of converge, look the same as the hand symbol. So later day people, to differentiate the two, the right tilted part added to the middle used to mean the hand versus the hair. We will tilt the same structure but have this extra dab on toward the left. So this is 5-finger hand symbol, and the right side is a tree symbol. This is a canopy of the tree, and the bottom is the root of the tree connected by a trunk. And then you can see mouse symbol, mouse symbol, mouse symbol. So this box looking thing was up to the corner. That's Chinese mouse symbol. So we have 3 mouses on top of a tree that depicts a cloud of chirping birds sitting on the tree, creating this birdie noise over there. So when we switch out the hand symbol on the left, if we put another boxy up to the corner mouse symbol over there, like same looking that, but blow up a little bit so that in proportion we have the left and right, not too big of a difference, right? So then that means noise. So I would imagine language creators use this chirping bird sitting in a cloud of tree branches to mean noise. Now we have hand symbol, but paired with the noise symbol, we can view this as noise. Then it turned out to mean hold. So the gap over there is up for interpretation. And my imagination is, okay, for the birds to turn this noise into music, you have to have a certain command of, almost like you're a conductor. Not that you're conducting the birds to sing in harmony, but similar concept in whatever we can control. Because just like a human society, if people have different voices, yes, of course, we encourage different voices, but it can become noises, right? When it's all noises, there's no direction, there's no clarity, like you don't know exactly what to do, right? So somebody have to be the conductor to sort out all that noise and get the essential, like what's real happening over there. So that becomes hold, almost like you can get hold of the situation or get control of the situation. Instead of facing noise, you can sort them out to kind of create the harmony. In the end, by the end of the day, you know what's going on. Okay, so that's one version. The second version is this how eventually becomes hold. We use it as 琴草. So 琴草, I would imagine it's 琴 means a type of stringed, ancient stringed, plucked string music instrument. So 操 means to hold that instrument. So if you're not holding the instrument, if you're not playing it correctly, it's noise. If you can hold it correctly, meaning through practice and training, you know how to play, and then it's pleasant. You can get paid doing that, right? So that's 操. 操 means hold, almost like a controlled movement of something. So either version, maybe there are other imagined connections, like why this noise symbol plus the hand symbol means hold. Yeah, I think this controlled movement in particular here means hand, right? So you have to train your hand to be able to handle something so that the result doesn't come out as a noise, as chaos, and then as something you have control or masterful of doing things. Okay, so that's 操. 做, we have this human figure symbol on the left side. That's because it's part of the bigger formation of a character, so it was kind of squished over. Normally, if by itself, it kind of look like that. Now it's on the side, right? So it's kind of squished over like that. And then the right side means all of a sudden. It means abruptly. So there are many interpretations of exactly why it's abruptly. It's a little bit hard to imagine what happened back then, but just from the language formation, because we know the components, we can disassemble it and see what could it mean. Okay, take out this horizontal line, the remaining part of it, it means death. And the reason why it means death, because on the left corner, if we view this as a frame, if the lines here is bordering on the left corner of the frame, it means lower ground, versus we have higher ground. So this is higher ground, this is lower ground. And sometimes language, the depiction, the visual representation of that will have further going downward. So it's kind of direct your attention toward the downward. So that means not only is it a lower ground, but it's going further down. And then the top here is kind of a squished version and then flattened at the bottom of this human figure. So I guess human figure in ancient times can depict this way. And then in the context of this death symbol, it can be squished, flattened out like that as well. So that's a human figure going lower ground and a further extended to go further down. So if lower ground here is the ground level, it's kind of pointing down. That means under the ground. So human, underground, death. Logical, right? And then this horizontal line becomes hard to imagine. Like normally in one frame, if we have nothing but just one horizontal line, besides it means number one, right? It also means ground. So it means ground. It means the starting point of things, just like in the Genesis English, Christianity Genesis, the world starts from the beginning, I forgot the sequence, but there is a sequence of creation, right? So it starts from one of something, and then something else gets developed on top of that. So in Chinese too, the concept is if we only have nothing but one horizontal line, that represent Earth. Wait, no, actually that represents sky. So it's outer space. And then if second of horizontal line, that represent Earth, that becomes like localized, that becomes our Earth. And so when we have only one horizontal line over there, that becomes like, what do you mean by this one? So one death the two doesn't make sense combined together. So scholars came up with all kinds of theories, try to guess out what this combination of death plus one, why it means all of a sudden. Because we have many later day expressions with this character, only the right part, combined with other either action or adjective to mean sometimes it looks like this, other times it looks like that. So it's kind of fickle. It's not permanent. It may change, kind of like a weather, right? It can change quickly, abruptly. So that one, death, doesn't work. Yeah, my understanding is it's something related to the status, the change of status, right? So if the lower ground signifies the person, this human figure is going underground, then this one indicator, this horizontal line doesn't really mean one. It could be an indicator. It could mean, it's pointing toward the above ground, toward the side. So it could mean that there is kind of a split of above and below, but it's not below ground. And it could mean, yeah, maybe that's when it could mean the change of status of being from death to alive, resurrection, or the other way around. Above the ground, all of a sudden underground. So that becomes sudden. Okay, so in any case, the current understanding of this character, it means abrupt or sudden. And then the left symbol is human, right? So human plus sudden together, it means all of a sudden that person stand up. Another thing, like why human, sudden? All of a sudden means all of a sudden. It means stand up, suddenly stand up. I don't exactly know, but this suddenly stand up eventually means the more commonly used contemporary meaning means act. So it means somebody from not doing anything to all of a sudden taking in action. So this starting the movement, starting acting, this suddenness, this change of state, then incorporate in here. It has to, when we talk about act, it has to be a person act. It's not an animal act. And then it has to have this status changing thing of suddenly from one status changing to another one. And then that is act. So that almost like you intentionally do something. Therefore, it's not autopilot. It's not out of habit. As you all of a sudden start to do something that may be surprising to other people. So that's act. So upset, hold, act. Actually, is a Chinese way to translate maneuver. If I have to translate it into one English concept, like reverse translate, 骚操作 in Chinese was currently is highly frequently used in a lot of media commentary. It's about upset simply means it's unusual. It's not the common practice. Therefore, it may look surprising or upsetting to other people, to observers. So 骚操作, 操作 means you're intentionally holding something, right? And acting. So it's a sequential movement of something. So you have to kind of plan, and then you have to carry it out as you planned, so that you can maneuver to a certain result, right? All of that is intentionally. You have to be you already know where you want to go, and you have to carry out in this correct sequence for it to happen. So it's quite a maneuver, right? And plus, this is so really a lot of connotations are embedded into so. Before I check this character, I wouldn't know what that is, but so in contemporary Chinese have this a little bit derogatory meaning because it is unusual. It's not the norm. It's whatever you come up with that may be surprising, maybe idiosyncrasy. It may be even morally judged as wrong. And all of that embedded into this salt that came from this horse flea removal procedure, right? And with that 骚操作 means somebody taking some action that could result in good or bad. And most likely could be bad because you try to maneuver something and then it could be, if you never try it, if you never thought it through well, things can easily go wrong, right? And when you put a sequence of movement, 骚操作, try to achieve something that's not really a direct link, you have to bypass it, right? Maneuver it toward the goal. Most likely it could be, something goes wrong and not end up pretty. So that's the Chinese long-winded explanation of what 骚操作 is. All right, cash into the currency of thinking about one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.